9 check. Two bets, 50,000.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome back. We return live at Campbelltown for the Absolute Prestige Cars, The Grind. It's Tom Bauer, Jordan Bromley, and Andrew Morley in commentary. I'll leave you with the two gentlemen and give you some updates around the field in the enormous, we expect to be record-breaking main event that's happening across the other side of the room. Jordan, Andrew, enjoy.
Go.
Yeah, that's what we were saying just before we jumped off, was how important it is to, get that feed in, get the water levels right, and get back in for the next grind of the grind.
Yeah. Right, you can see we're down to 6 on this table. We do have 7 players on the outer table, so we will update you guys as to kind of how we're going at the moment.
6 folds.
The sounds of things, we're going to be playing all the way through tonight, barring some kind of slowdown of play or anything like that, but we're just going to have to see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we get a lot of action in the intermittent times.
It looks like we've already got a jam.
And there we go, that's what we're after, and Jerry's woken up with Ace-Jack behind in the small
I think we're definitely going to see a call at least here from Jerry. Could even be an ISO, but quite a lot of chips in Alan's hands. This is the blinds are up to 15k, 30k. C, call, and Nav is going to be in rough shape.
Versus Ace Club, 7 spade.
And in terms of the ISO versus just the flat call there, I guess he doesn't mind if Alan does want to come along. He's most likely going to be folding, but...
And in this scenario, been looking for a 7. And that is a jack high flop. Looking for a chop. Oh wow, chop it all up.
Unkillable.
Oh my
Not coming home just yet.
Called up with those 8s, you could have busted. Could have.
I think Nav's very happy with that.
Was that you last night that had the 9s versus aces?
After seeing how he was
busy
very
was
much
that?
dominated.
Oh, you were there as well?
Both pre-flop
9s
and
versus aces. What a run out.
Yeah, definitely.
the most favourable of run-outs you could ask for. To quote another YouTube blogger, the poker variety.
Pretty favourable considered. When you guys all come back, let us know who you're cheering for. Shout out to Liam in the chat saying hi to me. Hope you're having a good day, mate.
5 folds.
You're having a very enjoyable weekend.
6 folds.
We got 1, 2, 3.
See Gina taking a second before folding the queen 3. Looks like it's going to fold around to Jerry.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Pink in plays 100k plays.
No,
He's going to find an open here.
2 folds.
Around 70k. We're going to have a defend here from Barry. These two tangled on the last hand before the break. Barry finding a 3x pot jam on the turn.
4 folds.
With just ace high on flop. Wow, he elects against the defend here. Definitely can't be folding Jack 8 suited here. This is a clear defend. Clear defend from the big blind, but he decides against it.
And we were commenting before on how fairly snug Barry was playing. It's kind of going in line with that again. But yeah, I agree. Jack 8 suited is pretty nice holding to defend against.
Yeah. Far too good to be folding in the big blind.
Definitely.
Six folds. 8 folds.
As it looks like Jerry is going to Jump straight back into it. Gonna open the ace
9
10
raise, 70,000. 2 folds. 4 calls.
Barry with the ace 10 as well from the small blind.
5 folds.
It's like he's going to come along.
Heads
And I
up.
don't think Dave's going to defend the king 3 offsuit.
Levy.
Yeah, of course, mate. Never in doubt.
4 check.
Dave would have flopped the best hand, but unfortunately he is not in it, so my pick is going to have to not make chips this hand. However, these guys do have the same holding, so unless
9
anything
bet, 50,000.
crazy happens, it looks like at the moment going to be a chop pot. But I don't know if Barry is going to really defend the c-bet from Jerry. He may just
4
fold
calls.
here.
Yeah,
No?
I think
Side's on a float.
I was going to say he'd probably float 1, but I think if Jerry puts any more pressure on the turn,
175.
No, I
bet,
don't think he's ever going to be
125,000.
folding now. Turns top pair.
yeah, not now. That's
Wow, finds a huge bet on the turn. He bets 175, almost 2/3 the size of the pot.
It is a large bet. I think this is always going to go all the way through. I don't think either of these two are folding here.
I think Jerry's going to find a call, and then I think he's going to decide depending on what Barry does on the river. And as played, Jerry has all of the overpairs, and Barry really doesn't.
Yeah, with his pre-flop raise. It's a very interesting line and size by Barry.
Jerry's really giving this one some thought. It's a pretty weird spot. Is Jerry... Oh, sorry, if Barry is defending the big blind... Oh, sorry, defending the small blind. Jerry has to wonder if he's going to have hands like 3s, 4s, 7s, or whether or not he would have just raised those or donked those on the flop. I don't think you can ever fold the best 10 here. He's probably just wondering whether or not it's worthwhile to jam to get value from, you know, diamond draws, but he does have the ace of diamonds.
Yeah.
8-9 of diamonds is a bit of a scary one in this scenario, but that would have needed to have called a flop bet, which probably isn't going to be happening enough. Definitely deliberating this for quite some time.
Yeah, what sizes are we working with behind? So Barry's got about $500,000 in his stack to Jerry's
Here.
1.6. Yeah.
Stack to pot ratio on the river is going to be a pretty clear jam for Barry, I would say, unless there's a really, really bad river card.
I guess Jerry's trying to work out whether he's good enough and can get him to commit it now, maybe.
9 calls.
Does eventually decide on a call.
Up.
River is a 9.
Four
Barry
bets all in.
does apply the biscuits to the middle.
Yeah,
And now
it felt like
Jerry's in a
that was coming.
pretty rough spot. He loses to 10-9 now. He's already behind sets. But given the way Barry donked top pair on the turn, I don't think if you think he's going to be doing this with king high ever, or like floating flop with king 10, I think he can fold the best
506,000.
10. But it is a pretty gross
506.
spot.
No. And I think as well, like the only other thing, like you said, 10-9, getting 2 pair on the river, it's
Yeah.
you almost wouldn't think about applying the same pressure as you would
No.
with ace 10. Because you've obviously
think
got
Jerry-
something for him to call.
And
Probably go
just
for
so that you...
king.
Yeah, just so that you guys know, it looks like we've had the removal of the yellow chips from the felt. So what you're currently looking at is the orange chips are worth 5,000, the blue chips are worth 25,000, and the pink chip that's at the top of Jerry's stack right now is worth 100,000. So the pink chips are going to be coming into play, and straight away he might have to utilize one of them here to find a call. It's a pretty tough spot though.
He doesn't look happy about it.
I think he just decided that he probably can't fold. Gonna stack him up, give it a little bit more thought. Double check the clock, double check how many players are left.
Yeah.
9 calls, straight down.
Makes the call.
And he does put the call in, and they're gonna chop it up.
Thought you were trapping again pre-flop. Doing one of your
A
little
lot of posturing,
Yeah.
chopping up the pot, but
Come on,
think
guys.
actually-
All that effort, and we're just gonna chop the money up? Come on.
Say again?
I think Barry, the way he took that, the line that he took
Ace
with
kicker.
that hand was did make Jerry have to think about it there because
take these
it
back?
didn't quite add up, especially with the aggression pre and on the flop from Jerry.
Definitely
So
a decision
don't
worth
leave the turn.
looking through. Yeah.
Remaining yellows out in front, please, players.
I think yes. I can't think of many sets that are donk leading
Yeah.
the turn when the 10 comes in either. So it's it's as played was very interesting.
Yeah, and you have to think that the way Barry has been playing so far, he probably just is going to raise all of his sets on the flop. So the way
Yeah.
that he was playing, it's probably he only really has either a worse 10 or 10-9.
For the
like,
same hand.
or the same hand, yeah.
Yeah. And I think,
I can't believe the jack
maybe
was so
I
high,
would,
it's
I would
Jack,
probably cautiously, if I hit 2 pair on the river, donk leading the turn, I probably wouldn't have jammed. I
5
probably
goes
would
up.
have in value if I knew Jerry was
6 goes
calling.
up. 8 goes up.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And even get him
difficult.
to rip it over the top.
Jack.
It is difficult though. I mean, if you rip a 2 pair on the river, you kind of want to jam to get
Just
Good luck to you all.
called by all over pairs because they're not going to really be folding, whereas they probably will just call versus a small bet.
That is true. Yeah. And like we've said before, that is kind of polarizing in that way. And that's
Yeah.
why Jerry ended up making the call, because it's like, well, what do I actually lose to here? And correctly figured out that there wasn't much, and they chopped it up.
So we had a quick race off of the yellow chips. Continue with play. As you can see, we're short-handed here. In the top right, you can see we've got 13 players left. I think that number may even be as low as 12 or even 11 now. That we've had potentially an elimination on the outer table. But we will let you guys know if there have been any changes going on or how close we are to an FT. As we mentioned earlier, we'll be playing all the way down to a winner, we think, at this point tonight. So we'll bring you all the coverage. As it folds around to Barry.
4 folds.
Doesn't decide on opening the king 4 off. And now blind, Dave and Gina. I think Dave, given how short Gina is just going to jam this hand. He does.
And
Very nice aggressive jam, and Gina doesn't have a hand she can call. Natural 9, no good. Dave is going to keep adding to his mountain of chips, hovering around that 56 big blind mark.
yeah, it's very comfortable there. 1.6. Yeah, Jerry's still on 1.7. Gina just, sitting there with 7 bigs, but that's, that's enough. You've got enough foldability with the blinds there. You don't need to get involved on any hand you don't want to.
It's also important to remember that these guys have been playing for many hours over the last couple of days, so you have to wonder if they're getting mentally fatigued or if any of the decisions take a little bit longer to kind of
9 fold.
the thought processes take a little bit longer to kind of get through because they've been playing so many hours. It can definitely get to you. As we see it fold around to Dave Sebesky once again. This time with Ace 4-0. With the chip lead, or with a lot of the chips, double checking the stacks of the small blind and big blind. I think he is just going to jam this. Yep, this is a very confident jam.
6
Very
folds.
difficult for these guys to call unless they have a hand that's going to be probably in the top 15 to 20% of their range. And the other 85% of the time, he just gets to pick up 2.5 big blinds for free. So very confident jam from Dave, and that takes him over the 1.7 million mark. He's playing really, really well.
Yeah, he's got a good position on the short stacks here as well. He gets to make a lot
Even
of
if he
those
is a
moves.
pelican.
And this is the guy you're rooting for, right?
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah, love a pelican.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit of a running gag between myself and a few other guys to call each other if we make a mistake when we play, calling each other random birds. So we'll call each other a pelican or a galah. Good fun. Anyway, Barry with 10s now.
Four
Looks
eight,
like he's going to
85,000,
open
85.
this one up. Looks like 85k. That's a pretty big open. Sebespi with King Jack O and Gina with 9s.
Wow. Yeah, 9's behind. I think this is going to be her time.
5 folds.
Yep. Very disciplined
Dave does get
fold
out of
from Dave, recognizing that
Victory
this
rate,
85k open size is probably pretty strong. But 2
8-10.
ace-4s here. I don't think either of them are going to get involved.
9 folds.
And I think Gina is going to be in a bit of a world of hurt here.
215.
I'm just going to clarify the total amount of chips she has before Barry throws in the
4
call.
calls. Showdown.
She's going to be in rough shape here. I mean, only 2 outs against the pocket 10s of Barry. Not much she can really do there with 7 bigs. It's a pretty unfortunate
No.
situation.
Yeah, she just runs into this
luck,
just
guys.
pipped pair.
Yeah.
It's always gross to see.
Does have
You
2
think
outs,
you can-
however.
That is true. It's not over yet.
Doesn't manage to find one on the flop. And she will not be assisted on the turn either. Barry turning a set and turning her dead. So we lose Gina from the final table potential. Busting in
table.
around 12th or 13th position. I'm not entirely certain. She played very well on the feature table. Definitely be proud of her efforts. Nursed a short stack for quite a long time and managed to get a number of pay jumps. Very well played, considering the fact that she didn't really have many opportunities the whole time she was there.
That's my hand. You can have it this hand if you want.
And then we were 5-handed.
You never know.
I assume at this point we'll be balancing the tables just to.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, I'd say we'll be bringing one player from another table over, depending on whether or not there have been bust outs at the other table. We could get 5 and 6, in which case we will remain with 5 players.
There we are, fair.
I'm happy as happy can be. There you go.
Looks like it's folded to Dave Sebespi here.
4 folds.
Fold.
5 folds.
And now we've got a jam here. Only got to get through Jerry and Alan. Oh, and I don't think it's going to be getting through Jerry, but really, really good for Nav. Has Ace King and is dominating Jerry's Ace Jack. This is a very huge spot
9 calls.
for Nav to find a big double.
2 folds. Showdown.
And we just saw a Jack was killed by Alan. So this is looking really, really good for Nav. He's basically got to fade one of 2 Jacks or flush draws.
You have him to win.
And if he does that, he will go straight back up to 18 big blinds. Really, really good spot.
Very comfortable
As we see,
position
Good
there.
luck, players.
to see another player being brought over. And that is pretty safe for him so far. Only backdoor diamonds, and a repeat
that's
king steals the deal. Double. Definitely waited for the best opportunity to strike and collected quite a lot of chips there. And now we've had a bit of a development at the top of the standings. Not only has Nav doubled to 17 bigs, but now Dave is clear from Jerry, 300k in front on 1.7 million.
6, 6. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, let's change the dynamics a little bit for
what was your
Dave and
first
Jerry
name?
if they do tangle.
Khan. 865, you said? 865,000. And Khan, Khaanh. And last name? L.
As we see a new player being brought to the table, going to be unpacking his chips. We'll find out just how many he has, whether or not he is going to be a threat to Jerry and Alan with the amount of chips that he's got.
Good to go. Welcome to the table, Khan.
At 850k, thank you very much for that. The table quality is a little bit low on our ears, but I'm glad that you were able to hear it.
60,000.
As we can see, Khan Lee joining the table with roughly 28 bigs.
8 fold.
And Dave's going to open the ace line offsuit. It's going to fold around to Alan. I
9
don't
fold.
think Gary is going
fold.
to defend the 7 deuce.
Unlikely.
And Barry elects to not defend
Fold,
natural
fold.
9 either. So Dave's going to keep adding chips to this stack. Looks like it's up over 1.8 mil. Just a reminder, guys, these guys are playing for $48,000 up top in this event. along with that $1,250 entry to the Vault tournament in October, along with entry into the Tournament of Champions event that will be happening at a future APT later this year.
7 folds. 8 folds.
Jerry with ace king here, and he's definitely going to want to open.
Nine raise, 70,000, 7-0. 2 folds.
Finds an open to 70k. Barry with sixes
calls.
in the small blinds, definitely going to be peeling this one.
5 folds.
And no defense from
I
Dave,
think Jerry
so heads
changed
up.
his sizing as well.
Yeah, bit of a classic flip here. See which one is the favorite on the flop, and Jerry does take the lead at the top.
4 check.
Yeah. 3 overcards to Barry's sixes, so I don't really think he's going to be able to call a bet on this flop. It's going to be a bet of about 55k and a fold. Maybe Barry's a little bit
4
disbelieving. No, he's not. He does just let it go. Jerry's going to pick up some chips, taking him back up to 1.6 mil. As we see that Nav still at 17 bigs, still in the danger zone, but he's doing alright. Relatively short for most of this feature table, and he's done pretty well to stay in.
Yeah, absolutely. He's, like we said, found his spots quite well, doubled up where he's needed to, and for the most part, avoided any action that would, yeah, kill his tournament life.
So given that we are six-handed here, guys, it means that they are probably six-handed on the other table as well. So 12 players left in this event. We will be giving you coverage all the way down to potentially a winner tonight. There is no need for a third day. Folds around to Barry with the Queen 5 suited. Alexa, just fold. Now Dave with the King 5 suited. Don't think he will be folding this one. I think he will be applying pressure with this hand. Probably an open to 75k, or maybe even a call. Alexa call. You're going to see a raise here from
7
Khan.
raise, 105,000.
So he's raising it up to
Yeah,
80k.
We mentioned that previously.
105k, wow, that's a big raise. Queen deuce offsuit. The call
calls.
here.
Heads up.
Dave. And that is a pair of kings for Dave, and nothing at the moment for Khan.
5 checks.
There is an ace out there, so Dave's going to be treading a little bit with
7
caution.
bets, 105,000.
Yeah, Khan does see that, which I think is the most.
It's 105k, roughly half pot. Plays very aggressively for somebody with just queen high.
5 calls.
Dave's not going anywhere, finds a call. Offsuit 7, so
Oh, I should
Dave does have the check mark. Unless Khan is able to bluff him off it, Dave will be winning this hand.
5 checks.
Does check. Khan reaching for more chips.
Yeah, he's very aggressive line on
Yeah.
this.
7 bets, 210,000.
And everything about this is screaming ace or better king.
Here goes half pot, half pot.
It's relatively small stack compared to Dave's. It's probably doesn't really want to.
5 folds.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
does
he does
eventually fold.
And I think that's probably, given the line, is the right fold, because everything about that, I wouldn't have felt comfortable sitting there with king 5. Probably
And the
personally would have elected
aggression
to
does
raise
get the job done.
from the small blind. It avoids you getting into those spots where you do flop middle pair, best hand, and then you get pushed off the pot. A raise on the small blind might have got hard to fold free.
Nine folds. 2 raise, 60,000.
You see Alan opening things up. He's been pretty quiet for a while, but now he's going to open the ace-10 offsuit. They with ace-5 on the button. Don't know whether or not he's going to find a 3-bet or a call here, given that there is a 17 big blind stack in the big blind.
180.
5 raise.
Proves me wrong.
180.
Reaches for chips. Raises to 180k.
180.
Now Calm with 6s, facing an open and a 3-bet.
Yeah, wow, it's not the time you want to wake up with a pretty
7 fold.
mediocre pair.
Does fold.
8 fold.
Yeah, folding as well. Now Alan with ace-10. Dave has been pretty aggressive against him, and maybe Alan found out about one of the 3-bets that he took earlier. Doesn't do anything about it. Dave just take it down with a nice 3-bet again. Still hovering around that 1.6 million mark after that small pot that he lost to Khan just moments ago. As we're watching from, we asked this earlier, and we got a couple of responses from the likes of Denver, Colorado, and Brisbane and Sydney. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So see, it looks like Alan is going to find another open here.
4 folds.
This time with Ace King and a big upgrade. Dave with the King 7 suited.
5 folds.
Sides against any
7
action.
folds. 8 folds.
Got a viewer from Gambling in Germany. Another viewer from Denver, Colorado. I'm sorry if I absolutely butchered that German town, but doing my best. As we see Jerry defending the 4-3-0 here from the big blind.
Heads up.
Is a bit wide, but this is a min. Probably feels like he'll be able to
9 checks.
play it well enough against Alan. Lifts the flop. Alan's still ahead with ace high.
Two
Looks
bets.
like he is going to c-bet, just one big blind, 30k. And I don't think Jerry is going to do anything here. Given that there are 2 6s on the board, he could find a check raise, as I think it's a fairly under-bluff spot. People don't really bluff these types of boards as a check raise, but he does elect against it. We've got Ryan doing some trolling in the chat. I don't think you're tuning in from Pyongyang. If you are, that would be very impressive.
Could
But also highly illegal, but anyway. Hope the weather is okay up there.
Jordan, whereabouts are you based right
folds.
now? Did you say you're Brisbane?
Yep, I'm currently in Brisbane at the moment, near Brisbane City.
Oh, okay, lovely.
5 folds.
So I always get the chance to go to the APT series at Eaton's Hill and at Southport Sharks down on the Gold Coast.
I'm not kicking you, am I?
Yep, lovely.
Oh, good.
I've not been up there yet, but I plan on going
7 raise.
September. I believe there's another series up at the Sharks.
8
I'll
folds.
be participating in that one.
Yeah.
So hopefully get to meet you and see you there.
Yeah, that'll be good. Fun. As we see Khan opening the 10-9 offsuit from the cutoff. Alan with Queen Deuce suited in the big blind. I think he will find a defend here. A very defendable hand.
2 calls.
Does like to call, so we're going to see a flop here.
Heads up.
And that is a flush draw
2 check.
for Alan,
Yeah,
so
not going to get away
definitely,
from that, I don't think.
definitely a couple of ways he's going to be able to play this one. Depending on the size that Khan elects to bet, if he does,
7 check.
I wouldn't be opposed
Done.
to Alan check raising, but instead he is going to find a turn card, which is a deuce, so it does give him a pair. He was already ahead with Queen High, but it gives him a pair along with his flush draw. 2 flush draws on the board now. 4 outs, as you can see at the top of the screen for Khan. Only an offsuit 9 or 10 will be able to help him win this hand.
in on the ground.
2 bets,
Alan
70,000.
didn't really much more to keep him interested in this hand.
No, it looks like he's going to put a bet out there of around 70k. And I don't think Khan is going to do much here. He can't really find any defense. He would have bet all of his kings on the flop. He's only got the 10 of spades. Wow, he announces a raise?
7 raise, 200,000.
And this guy came to play.
That's
I don't think this is ever going to get through. The only hand that really makes sense for him to have potentially have a flop trap with would have been kings, 7s, or 5s, but you'll usually find that most of these hands are going to bet the flop. Usually they're going to bet the flop though because of the flush draw and because the 5-7 interacts really heavily with some of the hands that Alan is going to call from the big blind pre-flop. So this is a pretty unorthodox raise. I definitely wouldn't take this myself. And I don't think it's going to work with Alan. I think Alan is going to be at least seeing a river, potentially even fighting back at him here. Going to have to see how it plays.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense other than potentially... Yeah, I can't really think of anything.
It's like he's going to find a call. Going to try and find a heart or a queen on the river. So we know that he's ahead, but he doesn't know that. And that gives him two pair. That is a queen.
He's very comfortable now.
And now we have to see whether or not Khan is going to empty the clip here. Found the turn raise bluff.
Yeah, I
So
like
whether
that
or not
check
he's
from
going
Alan
to
there.
give up. Yeah, it's a really nice check.
Give Khan the rope he needs to... Yeah, basically. If he rips it here, because he could be slow playing a king-jack kind of hand. We're just going to see a pretty easy snap call from Alan if he does put it in.
Yeah. Seeing some comments come through on the YouTube chat. We'll get to those in a moment, just after the completion of this hand. 'Cause it's a pretty pivotal one. The layout of what could be the final table coming up.
3.
Khan does elect to go for it. He announces the size.
7
It
bets,
looks to be around 300k. Alan doesn't love it, but I
do
think
like
he is going to end
blind
up
calls.
just side calling, and he does.
Has to.
Alan's going to win a big hand. Two pair will be good, and he's going to catapult his chip stack way up there, potentially into the biggest chip stack on the table.
You got there, but the wrong way.
Yeah,
Alan is going to fall to almost the lowest.
Nah. Okay, so I have no
See, Alan now 8 million and can't fallen down below the 500k mark with 16 bigs. Gina's asking for some feedback on my small stack game. Gina, I thought you played really, really well on the feature table that we saw. As we mentioned, when you unfortunately busted, you weren't really given many opportunities to accumulate chips, but when you were, you kind of took them and ran with them. I think you played very confidently, and your decisions were pretty clear. And as far as playing a little tight, I feel like that's actually kind of okay, because in tournaments like this, you may find that people are going to be going after it a little bit more liberally than you would think they would. But if that's the case, it gives you every opportunity to kind of take advantage of that and let them make mistakes. So I thought you played very, very well.
I agree.
Just pretty unlucky to not find a double up on that last hand running into the 10s. All in all, I think you played a really, really good tournament.
That was very unfortunate, and like you're waiting for those spots, especially in the big blind. Like you can't really ask for better than 9s at that
exactly.
position. And you know people are going to be raising you fairly low because you're sure they're going to expect you to fold.
Yep.
Can't be helpful. And no, I think you played.
He knows with the queen 2, he knows with the 7-4, he just knows.
Yeah.
People are going to be going after you there, so if you play tight and conservative, you kind of go against what they're doing, and oftentimes you can find that it plays to your advantage.
Yeah, definitely very well played, in my opinion. Should hold your head high regardless of result. I think you did really, really well.
I'll take a walk.
As we see a walk for Barry in that hand. Alan didn't want to give him any action, didn't want to double down either. Did have 11, but no good in this game.
Hello, Pilgrim. Yeah, someone knows it. Pilgrim. Fill your hands here.
7 fold.
Son of a bitch. So good.
Timo's asking if that's what we call a field player or a street
How old are
poker.
you, man?
Yeah, it looks like
Old
Khan
enough-
certainly
old
likes
enough
taking
to
it to
know,
the
don't
streets a
we?
bit here.
I know
It's
about dinosaurs as well.
very street pokery.
9 fold.
Alan's got
Not
3 years
personal,
on
And
it.
yeah,
all.
as I was
I've got
saying, during the
3
hand, I
years on
actually
me,
really
like,
like
you know, John
his
Wayne.
maneuvers there, because when your opponent doesn't pick up 2 pair on the river,
2 raised.
that's just going to get
75,000.
them to think a hell of a
Talk me
lot.
into
And if you can get your opponent to think,
4 calls.
then you've done a good job.
See an open from Alan here to 75k. Or from Barry in the small blind with ace queen, and Dave is going to come along with queen 10 offsuit as well. So we're going to go 3 ways to a flop here. Of 10, 7, 4, so Dave does take the lead with top pair.
5 check.
Going to check it over to Alan. Alan with a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, ace high. Probably not the best board to c-bet though. 10, 7, 4 interacts pretty heavily with the big blind defending range.
2 check.
Doesn't like to check
3
it back.
pairs.
That is a spicy turn. We see top pair for Barry, 2 pair for Dave.
150.
The way Barry has played
4 bets,
so far,
150,000.
I think he's going to play this pretty quickly, and he does. He fires out a bet of 150k.
That's very similar to when he had ace 10 and turned
Yep.
to 10. And unfortunately for him, it's someone's picked up something more on the turn with the queen with Dave.
Given the way this hand
5
played
raised,
and the backdoor flush draw, I wouldn't be surprised if Dave raises here,
4
and he
re-raised, all
does.
in, 5 calls.
And all in a call.
Wow.
So Dave, in an amazing
Yep.
spot to find the KO of Barry
4
here.
re-raise, all
Barry
in.
needs to only find an ace on the river.
Huge.
Otherwise, we will be losing him from this table. This is a huge pot. This is a 2 million chip pot.
Yeah,
One of the
yeah.
biggest pots. This is the biggest
All
pot in the
caught up, ready
tournament
to
so far.
Good luck, gents.
Yeah,
Just to fade
definitely.
an
we have
ace and
seen
an ace
fold.
only. Oh my god, it's an ace river. Wow, what a brutal run out for Dave. Oh, that is sick. Needed to fade one of 3 outs and wasn't able to do it.
Wow.
Just like that, Dave falls below 20 big
930,000.
blinds.
Played that
more than
perfectly,
John
though. I think
Wayne,
that
did
was
it?
when
Oh,
Barry showed
raising
the aggression
turn.
there.
Yeah.
And like you say, you
Played
want
it
to get
great.
out the flush draw. The ace queen is probably gonna, yeah.
Barry finds
very-
a Barry on the river.
He does indeed. And yeah, I was just saying before,
5,
there was
6,
an ace
7,
folded
8,
as well,
9,
so I
30.
kind of felt that was going to be pretty clean for Dave there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, should have just shut up, spoke too soon.
Bad luck, mate.
Next time.
Thanks.
And now we're going to have to see how Dave adjusts his play style, going from having all of the chips.
Blinds are up 20, 40, 40 this end.
Yeah,
Now
definitely.
he's going to be playing with 20 bigs.
Both changes your play strategy, but also your mindset. You've got to kind of recover from what is, you know, essentially a pretty sick beat. You got to let that get out of your head, move on, reassess, take your chip stack, and yeah, play accordingly. And like I'm sure he is very competent and capable of doing so.
Eight fold.
See some guys tuning into the chat shouting out
9 folds.
Barry. Really happy that he was able to find the ace on the
2
river.
folds. 4 folds.
And now Dave is going to have 10s. To see how he plays this hand against
Raise all in.
Khan, given the way they interacted with each other in the previous hand blind v blind. We see that he does just jam.
Yeah, I
He
think
does
it's-
cover Khan here, so Khan's going to have to wonder whether or not he's going to call off, and he decides against it.
Does pick it up.
Quick shout out to Aiden Hildebrandt in the chat. Another one of the Pelicans I was talking about earlier.
Are there any other bird names that you use, or is it just pelicans, galahs? no albatrosses?
Pelicans, galahs, pigeon. Pigeon's a good one.
Okay, pigeon. Pigeon's good.
Yep.
I went to show the casino. Is that dinner?
Sometimes we use cutlery,
Bro,
call each other a spoon, which is fun. It's an absolute spoon.
no, that's fine. I got it. I was just about to send it somewhere.
We also support each other as well.
Yeah, okay. Fair
we're
enough.
not just
I was gonna say,
constantly
is it-
needling each other.
Just finding random names to call each other.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's always
have
it's
support
always
of-
the inanimate objects that are the best ones. There was a a YouTuber named Ginge Poker who used to play on Poker Stars, and he had a tag that just read piano. And I always thought that one was pretty funny. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're going to be doing the coverage of this all the way down to a winner tonight. So make sure you don't look away, as we see Dave here with a 6 on the button.
Sorry.
I think he will just jam on these shorties. Yep, he does.
Yeah, he does.
7 calls.
And
all
a
in.
call from Khan.
Oh wow.
King Queen.
That's a call.
That's a 9 fold, 2 fold, 4 fold.
And now Nav with ace 4 suited might give it some thought.
I thought it was a, yeah, but
Shaking his head a little bit. He's been pretty snug.
Yeah, I think 2 jams over the top in front
Yeah.
of it. It's,
I think he
somewhere to
will
go. It's-
like a fold. And I think Dave is going to be pretty surprised to be ahead here.
Oh man.
Given
Yeah, I
how
think
fast
so
Khan
too.
snapped, I think he thought that he was going to be much further behind, but he's actually a favourite. Just like chickpeas and lentils, one of these hands has a slight statistical advantage. And Dave is potentially looking to find the KO of Khan, who recently came to the table. Queen for Khan, so Queen does find top pair here. An ace on the turn for Dave. And a brick river, so we will be losing Khan Lee.
When he folds an ace.
It's a very fortunate run out for
Yeah, I
Dave
don't know.
there.
Yeah.
Listen,
We played very aggressive since getting to this table. Didn't really let anybody in his way. Took a pretty
because I just felt like it's gonna come.
unorthodox bluff against Allen, which did not work out.
Take your table card.
After losing that flip against Dave, he is heading to the payout desk.
I was planning on walking out the door. But that's the way it happens sometimes.
Play jump as well, so now playing 10th and 11th.
Sorry, mate.
Ah,
The room's a bit dodgy. Oh, I just said I got money in
3,700.
playing, sorry. Yeah.
As you can see in the top right of the screen, 10 players left nearing the final table. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere. We're going to be bringing you that coverage soon. Need to get one more of these players. Saying that kind of aggressively, but we are looking for one more bust out before we have the final table. Let us know in chat who you guys are cheering for. If you guys have any specific people you want to see win this one. I know we've got a lot of fans for Barry. We've got a shout out for Dave Sebesfi. Let me know what you guys are thinking.
mine is still a mystery until he arrives at the table. I will not do it to him again.
All right.
2 raise,
You see
80,000.
Alan opening deuces under the gun here.
4 folds.
Off the back of all of the chips he just got from Khan, he feels a lot more confident opening
Five
hands like this. As we see it fold to Nav with 8-9 at suited in the small blind. Given that he's been pretty tight from these spots, I don't think we'll be finding a defend here, and he does fold. I do think Jerry is going to be calling the ace-9 suited at least. He may even find a 3-bet here. We know that Jerry has the 3-bets in his arsenal, and he looks to implement it here, finding the 3-bet.
Raise, 290,000.
And I think Alan might get out of the way.
290k. Does decide to fold the deuces. As we see Jerry still playing the most hands. Barry is sitting still the most snug at the table. Near this 900 final table here at the Grinds at the Australian Poker Tour Series at Campbelltown. As we mentioned earlier, the main event has been going absolutely crazy. There was 190 runners in the flight last night alone, and today we received word that it has broken the guarantee and the prize pool is reaching upwards towards $300,000, which is going to be the biggest main event in APT history. So definitely recommend getting down to Campbelltown to fire a bullet into the main event. Sounds like an amazing value tournament to go and have a shot at. As we pick the action back up with Dave here with Queen 9 off. Gonna find an open in the cutoff.
5 raise, 80,000. 8 folds.
Nav thinking nothing of Jack 9 offsuit. Jerry with 7-6 suited. Yesterday he found calls from the small blind with hands like this, wanting to see flops multi-way. I think he may potentially lead to do the same thing here. Though he did just 3-bet the ace-9 suited, so he could go either way.
9 call.
Decides on a call.
Yeah, I think the 7-6 works better as a call to see the flop because
2 folds.
you're 3-betting. Yeah, ace-9 makes more sense.
A fold from Alan, so we're going to go heads up to a flop here. Which is pretty good for Dave, flopping trips. Unfortunately for him, Jerry just has no connectivity to this board at all.
But fortunately for him, Nav folded Jack 9. So that would have been a world of hurt if he had come along.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
There's
wow.
a dead hand.
5 bets, 50,000.
That's why he's looking a bit uncomfortable over there.
As we see the bet, the continuation bet from Dave here, betting 1/5 pot, 50k. Wonder whether or not Jerry is going to try and see this as a sign of weakness and attack this sizing. It's a very nice size from Dave.
Yeah.
On boards like this, you really want to be taking a very, very small size. Jerry double checks his cards and decides against it. Relinquishes the pot over to Dave, who, off the back of kind of getting brutalized by that ace river, has clawed his way back up to 1.3 million from the 495 he was at before.
Yeah, he's not too far off where he was when he did get brutalized, we'll say.
We've got a bandwagon supporter in the chat. Was cheering for Dave Sebesky and now he's cheering for Jerry. So pick a side, mate.
Five folds.
None of this flip-flopping. Make a decision.
Yeah.
You stick to it.
Yeah. None of this sitting on the fence business. As we see Jerry with Jack 8 suited, but Alan with queens in the small. Jerry is going to find an open here. And it is not going to be responded to with kindness.
No.
As the blinds have increased to 20k, 40k. See Alan probably going to find a 3-bet here to around 325k.
See what he does.
Maybe even slightly more. Looks like
20?
2 re-raise, 270,000. Correct.
270k, yeah.
Oh.
That's what it did sound like, right?
I don't think Jerry is going to be calling this one. Probably just a little bit too weak. Hands like Jack 10 suited, I would much prefer to call here. Jack 8 suited is too disconnected.
Yeah,
Can be very dominated on certain flops. Even on Jack high flops, you don't really feel very confident about your hand. I've had a clarification from the thought was a fence-sitting supporter, as apparently he actually wanted Jerry to give his chips to Dave, so
9 folds.
it's even less kind. Got a pick for Adam Tankman, not on the feature table, by Timo. Sorry, Timo? Not sure. Sorry if I get your name wrong. Apparently he's not on the feature at the moment, but maybe he will be on the final table.
I was like, percentage-wise, it's likely.
Yeah. Fade one more elimination.
40-40.
A bit of support for Alan as well in the Twitch chat. Who has been playing very, very solidly.
Yeah,
so,
Alan's been playing
gonna
very,
have a
very
fair
well.
shout.
Definitely going to be a contender moving forward. Been making some moves and they've been working out.
2 folds.
See Barry with the Queen Jack offsuit and the small. Just going to call. Dave with the 9-8. I think we'll probably just check this back.
Yeah, I think given the player...
Maybe he senses weakness from the limp from Barry, and he's probably going to go after it.
Checks.
Let's
Heads
decide
up.
on a check. You're going to see a flop heads up here and a blind limp pot. Flop that is very good for Dave,
I think
flopping top pair and a gutter.
for Dave.
4 check.
Check from Barry. I think Dave is probably going to get one big blind in the middle here.
5
Slightly
bets,
over one big
50,000.
50k. And a quick fold. Oh no, a call.
No, quick
Sorry.
call.
Wow, Barry, non-believing. Does have the Queen of Clubs for backup.
Heads up.
Close but no cigar on the turn. King turn.
Picks up a gut shot.
4
Does
check.
pick up a gutter. 10 would give him the nuts. I think we'll see a continue from Dave here. Probably
bet, 75K.
around 1/3. Does bet 75k.
4 folds.
1/3. Quick fold from Barry.
Yeah, does give up.
Good on you.
Shows him the good
actually
news. You see
very
Dave
surprised
back
by
up to
this.
1.4 mil.
Good cards, went nowhere.
Almost where he was at prior to the cooler against Barry
You know how that
earlier.
feels.
Oh, mate. When you're one card away from 3 point something.
Yeah.
Never easy. I know, that's what Jared just said. Just had a good whinge to him. He's like, man. And that, remember that Kings one when I sucked out on him when he flopped a set of 10s and I had ace 10 on ace 10 2 and we hit an ace on the river? Yeah. He said the same thing. Yeah, well, it's just like get back in there and win it or something, basically.
It looks like we also had a comment about loons, which I believe are
9 raise,
Canadian
80,000.
bird. So it must be in reference to
2
our
folds.
Oh, about the bird talk. Yeah.
bird talk. The bird talk.
Yeah. Bird talk.
Pretty sure a loon. Pretty sure a loon is Canadian because they call their dollars loonies and
Okay.
pennies.
I'm
Little
not.
bit of trivia.
I'm not well versed enough in kind of
Canadian
Canadian economics. So
poultry or currency, yeah. Well,
as we see Dave, looks like he's going to find a 3-bet here with King Jack offsuit. It's interesting to note whether or not he's choosing to do this or whether or not it is because of the different size that Jerry has used. Jerry was opening to 90k or 2.2 big blinds before. It's just a min open this time. Looks like he's counting some chips out.
it's these spots where players
Battery rate,
deviate from what you've
40,000.
been seeing them do that gives you cause to
8 folds, 9 folds.
Yep. And a 3-bet to
pounce.
240k, 3x, and a quick
Yeah,
fold
it's a fold.
from Jerry. Wow. Very nice play
So he
from
definitely
Dave.
picked up
He's
on
flexing
something
his
there.
muscles a bit here.
That was very well read, I believe. Sensed something wasn't quite right and pounced.
Aiden making a point that I have a really interesting pigeon fact. Yes, I do. However, I'm not allowed to tell that fact unless it's on Nat Geo After Dark, which unfortunately hasn't been running for a number of seasons now. So for now, you're just going to have to pretend that you don't know any facts about pigeons.
Okay.
Yeah, just let's just leave it at that.
I'm trying to throw
Yep.
all pigeon facts out. Gone.
Yep. I can tell you an albatross fact. Albatrosses can sleep when they
2
fly.
raise, 80,000.
That's an interesting
4
fact.
folds.
Yeah, but so can I.
5 folds.
Sure, with a big enough plane. As we see Alan opening to
8 folds.
80k. It's going to fold over to Jerry with Jack Deuce suited. Skeg with a very good point in the chat. Birds aren't
9
real.
folds.
They're all government agents. As we see
That's what I was
Jerry
thinking that
defending
was
it.
gonna be.
I actually have.
Jerry defending,
I can't count this
dominated by Alan. As we see he totally whiffs the flop. Alan's still ahead with ace high.
Like 1? 1.2? Thank you.
9 checks.
See a check from Jerry. 10-9 of the board interacts really heavily with the big blind's defending range. Hands like 10-8, 8, 10, 9, Jack 10, O, Queen Jack O, 8,
Two bets,
7.
65,000.
So you have to be a little bit cautious when betting hands like this on this board, but Alan doesn't really see any fear betting a little under 1/3. See how Jerry responds. Jerry's got a lot of backdoors here. Can turn a queen, an 8, a club. Lots of very good turn cards for him to be able to barrel off on, so
Yeah.
it's a hand that could get a little bit spicy with, but from the way we've seen him play so far, I think he will end up just folding this spot.
9 raise, 200,000.
But I am wrong. Again, does find the check raise.
It's a very interesting line, but I think, like you said, the board does connect heavily with what he could be defending his big blind with, and unfortunately for Alan, not connecting might have to
Yeah,
let this
and
go.
hands like Jack X of clubs, which are double backdoors, perform relatively well as check raises. Hands like Jack 5 of clubs, Jack 4 of clubs, Jack Deuce of clubs.
Two calls. Heads up.
So we see a float from Alan here, interesting. And a Jack on the turn. That's a spicy turn card for both of these guys.
I think Jerry now has the card that he thinks he wanted to hit when he was bluffing.
Yeah. If he wasn't able to turn a backdoor card like the 8 of clubs, queen, or a club, does find
9
top
check.
pair and is going to be in trouble here.
Yeah. Has showdown, does check.
Yep. I think Alan will probably find like a 1/4 or a 1/3 size here on the turn if he is betting. Still wants to get value from hands like King 10, Queen 10 that now have a gutter and an open ender that decided to check raise the flop.
2 check.
Likes to check back. There are hands that he is dead to now, like 8, 7, King, Queen. And all of those hands that did have backdoor equity, if he was choosing a
9
hand
check.
like Queen 8 or something to check raise, all of those hands have improved. So this river is actually a little bit closer than
Check.
would think for
Showdown.
Alan, and he is just going to check it back.
Red jacks.
And he is going to be happy to see that he does
Red
come away
jacks.
with the winner here.
It was a little bit dicey at points.
Yeah, run out did get a little bit dicey. Could have potentially found a small turn bet. However, the double check
Yeah.
raise line is a very scary one to face. Probably wanted to avoid that.
Yeah, like you
So we
said.
see the pre-flop raise. Nav and Barry just chilling at the moment, letting Alan, Dave, and Jerry do all of the work. Timo in the chat made a comment. I don't really know how to say that. Are you trying to say combinatorics? Com to Jinx Enter? Not sure. Thanks for tuning in though. Lord Ginge, it's about the pigeon and the guy. Hey, yeah, it is about that one. But I'm not going to go into any further detail. I'm going to let you use your imagination for that one there.
8 raise.
Oh, that's just opened it all up.
Yeah. As we see Nav putting it in with Ace Queen. 6 big blinds.
It's been
Jerry
very,
with the Queen
very
Jack
patient.
O. He's been very patient, and every time he's been able to rip it in when his opponents have got dominated hands.
And we have seen Jerry do things like isolate, raise or win.
Yeah, he may even just find a call here, thinking that he's going to be flipping against hands like 5s, 4s, 3s. Just wants to try and get to the final table, but
folds.
he does eventually make a very disciplined fold. Alan with 2 big blinds already invested.
expensive
King
card.
high.
They got it. They got chips.
Oh,
in
they got it.
Yeah.
Heels a
Yeah.
3, decides against it.
Back rhythm.
The DGen
Probably a good
backy
thing to see
squeeze.
that first.
Don't do that. Those cards are expensive, Alan. I'll have you fined.
Sorry, Tom.
See the chips getting pushed back to Nav's direction. 8 big blinds.
Sure. I must have snapped.
Louis making an interesting comment in the Twitch chat. Don't know how you know about that. Is it a first-hand realization, or?
Small blind, big blind.
I don't want to know.
Yeah, don't know. You don't want to know. It's fine, Andrew. Don't worry about it. As we see, Dave folding under the gun. Over to Nav again. 8 big blinds still.
8 folds.
Siding against it. I don't think Jerry will open this 10-7 off. I think it will fold over to Alan. Blind be blind with Barry.
Another walk?
4-3 offsuit. No.
2 calls, option.
Little collection of pink chips he's got in front of his chip
4
stack.
checks.
Elects to call.
Heads up.
And just a check from Barry. As we see the ace-king-9 flop.
2.
No connectivity for either player. I think Alan will bet 1 big blind and win this one straight
40,000.
away.
Can you just fan your cards
And he
over the
does.
I think
system?
it's going to get through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jason in the chat. Thanks for the nice words, mate. Hoping that you guys are enjoying this. We're gonna be bothering you guys all the way until the end when we crown a winner this evening. As always, if you have any questions or if you'd like to know anything about poker, about the series at APT, or about the players on the feature and eventually final table, feel free to send them in Twitch and Facebook and YouTube. We'll be constantly checking the chat, interacting with you guys.
And anything on birds, but not pigeons.
Fine,
Yeah, no, nothing about pigeons. No more asking about the pigeons.
Just other birds.
Yeah, they're not real. Go with that.
Go with that. Safe.
8 folds.
As we see it folded over to Jerry. Double checking the blinds. Looks like finding an open.
9 raise, 80,000.
The Queen Jack offsuit. Alan having a bit of a think here. Aiden in the chat wondering why Jared Thatcher hasn't won an event already. Yeah, I know he's a bit slow. He really needs to work on it. I think it's a record. 3 tournaments without a win for Jared. So he's definitely in the pain box at the moment. He doesn't really know what he's doing with his life. We wish him a speedy recovery. As we see, it looks like we're going to see a multi-way pot here. Graphics are a little bit behind, but they will catch up soon. See Alan flatting the ace-6
9
suited
raise,
on the button.
Everyone behind calls. 4
Barry
checks.
flatting 8s in the small blind and Dave flatting Jack 10. That's a huge flop for Dave, flopping a royal flush draw.
5 checks.
Everyone's got a piece of it.
Alan with
9
top
checks.
pair, Jerry with a
2
gut shot.
checks. 4 players.
See, the turn is a jack. So Dave now with a pair to go along with his royal flush draw. Jerry with a pair as well. The only person with no
4
connectivity
checks.
is Barry, who does check it.
5 checks.
Dave going to check as well. Wonder whether or not
Barry
Jerry
must
is
think
going
that
to
he needs to hit.
fire a bet here, connecting the jack.
9 checks. 2 checks. 4 players.
Checks through once again, and a 10 river, so Jerry
4 checks.
does make a straight. And Dave electing to check it over to Jerry as well. Very interesting board.
Yeah, everyone's got a lot here.
Jerry
9
does
bet,
elect to go for
6,000.
some value. Very thin. Oh, sorry, very small, betting 60k it looks like.
That's what
A
six-
fold from
2
Alan, a
folds.
fold from Barry.
4 folds.
Now some thought
5 calls.
from Dave. Puts in the call. He's gonna get the bad news.
Great.
It's pretty gross.
Got a pretty sexy hand to turn into a bluff. Blocks king 10, king jack. Jacks and 10s. It's lost houses. matter of whether or not he would have played King Jack or King 10 or Jacks or 10s that way.
I mean, potentially when you flop... Yeah, you flop the kings. It's pretty big board.
A River Jam would have absolutely put Jerry in the pain box. Not to be, however, as we continue on towards our final table. Still 10 players remaining for one more bust out before we have our final table of 9.
Person that could.
9 faults.
Might have been a job.
Making a point in the chat. Thatcher is very unlucky. Yes, he is one of the most unlucky poker players on the circuit at the moment. It's crazy how bad that guy runs. As we see Dave with 10-4 suited, going to jam blind be blind. And I think he's going to be very quickly called here from Nav.
All in call.
Yeah, he is. That's fair enough.
Shout out Chad Albach on the rail. Yep. See him standing to the left there with his patented green sweater.
Good luck, players.
So Nav just needs to fade a 10 for all hearts and he will find a double here. Oh wow, that's a pretty scary flop for him. A lot more outs for Dave. Pointing out which one he wants.
Gut shot. He's got a
That won't
double.
do it.
No,
Needs
no,
a
it's
heart, a
gut shot.
10 or a 4. 13 outs on the river. And that is
There's
one
the
of
10.
them. Nav has been eliminated and we have our final table. Nav absolutely battled his way through this feature table, getting very unlucky in a number of spots, constantly able to get those ladders through even when short. And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our final table. So we are going to give these guys a moment to kind of count their chip stacks. We're going to balance the two tables into the final table. And when that is all done, we will continue to bring you the coverage of the final table of the grind here at the Australian Poker Tours series at Campbelltown Catholic Club. Stay tuned, we'll be back shortly.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Andrew. It'll take about 30 minutes to set up our final table, folks. We return with all the continued action, 8:30 p.m. With our live stream. We look forward to joining us as we play down to a winner here for the Absolute Prestige Cars, the Grind.